Hello student, in this session we are going to learn NCERT class 8 history chapter 3 ruling the countryside. So this is the second segment of the video. In the first segment what we have learned that how the over the period of time the Robert Clive get the Diwan rank or in the Diwani system under the Mughal, where he has to collect the revenue from this state. The states are Bengal, Orissa and other. So but later on how the company has started slowly and gradually, because first earlier they used to come for the trade, then later on they used to do the work under the certain kingdom. If we talk about the Mughals, so they start collecting the revenue. So later on what they later on they put the people just like the big landlords, zamindar and the other people, so for that they can collect the revenue from the peasant, from the farmers and other peoples, and they can pay to the company. Then later on we come to know the number of the governors used to came over that time. If you talk about the Cornwallis, then the Monroe system, then all new things and the problems in which at the different places which starts from the Bengal, they have the worst affected due to the famine, where the 10 lakh people were died due to the famine. So that what are the things were that if we talk about the Cornwallis time, what did they used to do that? He put the zamindars to collect on that in the zamindar under the zamindar on the particular land, number of the peasants, number of the farmers, or you can say the number of the tenants used to work over there, so that this tenant people used to pay the rent as well as they have to pay the tax to the zamindar, for which the number of the people are can't able to pay the money. So for that they have to went towards the money lender. They have to take they have to borrow or they have to lend the money from them. Then after they have to give it to the zamindar, and that zamindar to the this company. But later on the zamindar also faces the problem that we are not able to pay the that much of the price or that much of the tax to the company. Later on what they do that the what the company goes doing that the company is take the land from them, and they used to put the land in the auction, by which now the zamindar is not having any kind of power to collect the tax, to doing the agriculture on their own land by you can say the hiring the tenants to do the work in their own land. So this kind of problem they face by these people. Later on we talk about in the South India, what they happen is in the South India we don't find any kind of the zamindari system. So what they do that they the you can say the tenants or the farmers or the riots who doing the work on the particular land for the generation. So by playing the dirty tricks, the company, the East India Company used to take away the land from them, and they put a heavy tax or they levy a heavy tax to them that you have to pay the tax to us at a very higher amount. So these are so far these things which we are discussed in the previous segment of the video. In this segment what we are going to discuss first is the crops of Europe. Then later on, does the color have the history? Yes, the color have the history. We talk about the different colors, the indigo, then other colors, then the Muslim, all this stuff we're going to learn in this chapter. The why the demand for the Indian indigo, because at that time indigo demands in all over the world, and indigo is from the India is considered as one of the finest and one of the bestest quality of the world, and India is the only country which is the largest producer of this indigo. So later on we come to know about this also that the Britain's turn on India. Yes, Britain had number of like they are most fascinated towards the India because they get the varieties of the crops from the India. They used to take the crops at the cheaper rate from the India and they sell it in the Europe at the higher price. Then how was the indigo cultivated? This is also the history behind that. That they put the number of the slaves at the different parts of the country, and they forcefully how they have to do the cultivation. The problem with the niche cultivation, that is also going to we come to know in this. Then after that we're going to cover this point also. India's on the land of the riots, then the black, sorry, the not a black, the blue rebellion, and the after the blue rebellion it refers to the indigo. And after what has happened, so starts from crops of Europe. The British also realized that the countryside could not yield the revenue. It could also grew the crops of the Eastern Europe required. Now, what the thing is, they come to know that the Indian not only the thing where they can collect the revenue, they find the different kinds of crop. What they have to send in the Europe. So, but the late 18th century, the company was trying it's the best to expand the cultivation of opium and indigo. So now they find that they have to start doing the cultivation of opium and indigo in India. So in the century and a half of the followed, The British pursued to force the cultivators in the various parts of India to produce the other crops: jute in Bengal, tea in Assam, sugarcane in United Province of now in the Uttar Pradesh, wheat in Punjab, cotton in Maharashtra and Punjab, and the rice in the Madras present day in Chennai. How was this done? The British used a variety of methods to expand the cultivation of the crops they needed. Now, let's use the varieties of the method to grow or to cultivate this crops. Let us take the closer look at the story of one such crops, one such method of the production. Now we come to know about history of the colors, which I already explained that yes, there is the history of the color. So here you can see the this figure first, a kalamkari print, and this is the Morris one. So the kalamkari print, 21st century India, and the Morris cotton print, late 19th century in England. So does the color have the history? Yes, the figures 5 and 6 are the two image of the cotton prints. The image on the left is show the kalamkari print by the weavers of the Andhra Pradesh in India. On the right hand floor, cotton print designed by the produced by the William Morris, a famous poet and the artist of the 19th century in the Britain. This is the one of the things common in the two prints that the both are rich in blue color, commonly called the indigo. Now we come to know about the history of behind the indigo. Do you know how this color was produced? So you have the idea how the color was produced. The blue that you see in this print was produced from the plant called the indigo. So from the indigo plant, which color they made? The blue color. This is likely that the blue dye was used in the Morris print in the 19th century. Britain was manufactured from indigo plants and cultivated in India. So it is likely said that the blue dye used in the Morris print in the 19th century, Britain was manufactured from indigo plant and cultivated in India. For India was the biggest supplier for the indigo in the world at that time. So India at that time was the biggest supplier in the world. Why the demand of now the next topic, why the demand for the Indian indigo? Because I already said that it is the one of the finest, or it is one of the largest producers of the indigo, and it's to supply especially in the European countries. So the indigo plant grows primarily in the tropics. By the 13th century, Indian indigo is being by the cloth manufacturing Italy, France, and the Britain to dye and cloth. So I said already said that different parts of the Europe or different countries of the Europe they start demanding of the indigo because India is the one of the largest producer of the indigo. So, however, only a small amount of the indigo reached to the European market, only the small amount, and its price were very high because the British used to sell it over there. From here, used to take it from the at a cheaper price, and the Europe they used to sell it at the higher price. So, the European manufacturer therefore they had to be depend on the another plant called woad to make the violet and blue dyes. Being a plant of the temperate zone, wood was more easily available in Europe. It was grown in the northern Italy, southern France, and in the parts of Germany and the Britain, worried by the competition from the indigo. Wood producer in the Europe pressured that government to ban the import of the indigo. Now here, the producer of Europe pressured the government to ban the indigo. Now, why they was to ban the indigo? Because the people of the you can say the Britishers or the scholarly people they used to take the indigo from the India at the cheaper. They used to sell it at the high price in the Europe. So people are not able to take that indigo because such a high you can say such a high price. How the people can buy that? So what they start now they're producing the synthetic indigo. You can say the chemical based indigo, which is not real in color. So the cloth dye, however, prefer the indigo as the dye. Indigo produces rich blue color, whereas the dye from the wood was pale and dull. So where you just said the synthetic one. So this one is the other thing. With the dye from the wood was pale and dull. By the 17th century, European cloth producer pursued the government to relax the ban on the indigo import. So now they relaxed the ban on the indigo import. So the French began cultivating indigo. Now the French started cultivating indigo at the San Domingo in the Caribbean island, the Portuguese in Brazil, the English in the Jamaica, and the Spanish in the Venezuela. Indigo plantation also come up with the many parts of the Northern America. Now you are thinking what the plantation is: a large farm operated by a planter employing the various form of forced labor, which I am already explained this, the forceful labor. They used to force the people, you can come over there here and do the cultivation on the plantation. The plantation are associated with the production of coffee, sugarcane, tobacco, tea and, cotton. By the end of the 18th century, the demand for the indigo grew further. Britain began to industrialize and its cotton production expand dramatically, creating an enormous demand of the cloth dyes. While the demand of the indigo increased, this extended supplies from the West India and the America collapsed for the variety of the reason. Now, while the demand of indigo increased, its excess supplies from the West India and the America collapsed for the variety of the reasons. Between 1783 and 1789, the production of indigo in the world fell by half. The cloth dyers in the Britain now desperately look for the new source of the indigo supply. Now, how the Britain turns on India. So the faced with the rising demand for indigo in Europe, the company in India looked for the ways to expand the area under the indigo cultivation. So the people of the Europe start demanding more and more indigo. So the Britain what they finding the place to for the planting of the indigo. So they find the India as the best place for planting the or for doing the plantation of the indigo. So this started the different methods over there. So you can see for such picture the slave revolt in the Swan Domingo August 1791, painted by the January Scudoloxi. In the 18th century, French planters produced the indigo and the sugar in the French colony of the Saint Domingo in the Caribbean island. The African slaves who worked on the plantation rose in the rebellion in 1791. Now here the slave of from the Africa country they start rebelling it, burning the plantation and killing their rich planters. Now they start burning the indigo plants and their rich planters. In 1792, France abolished the slavery. So in the 1790, you will come to know in the higher classes how the France abolished the slavery and how the people used to wear the red cap. So 1790, the France abolished the slavery in the France colonies. This even led to the collapse of this indigo plantation on the Caribbean island. From the last decade of the 18th century, indigo cultivation in Bengal expanded rapidly. First, it starts from the Bengal, and the Bengal indigo came to dominate the world market. I already tell you, India is considered one of the largest producer in the indigo at that time, not this time. So in the 1788, only about 30% of the indigo from the India, 30%. By the 1810, the proportion had gone up to the 95 percentage. Now think about it, which I already said, the indigo is one of the largest producer at that time. That to how much percentage? That is the 95. As the indigo trade grew, commercial agent as the official of the company began investing in the indigo production. Over the year, many companies official left their jobs to look after the indigo. So the number of the people in the company they left their job to look after the what the indigo plantation and attract by the prospect of the high profits. Now they are attracted which by because they are attracted towards this business because they used to get the high profits. So they left their you can say the job of the British officials. So attracted by the prospect of high profits, numerous of Scotchmen and Englishmen came to India and become the planter. Those who had no money to produce the indigo could get the loans from the company and the banks that were coming up at that time. So how was indigo cultivated? Now we come to know how was indigo cultivated. So there was the two main system of indigo cultivation, the niche and the rayati. So within the system niche cultivation, the planter produced the indigo in the land that he directly controls. So in which the particular person is having the direct control over the land. So in that particular land they used to start planting the indigo. He either bought the land and rented from the others. Either they used to bought the land or they rented from the zamindar and produced the indigo by directly employing the hired labor. So they used to hire the laborers. They can start planting more indigo. So the problem with the niche cultivation, so the planters found it difficult to expand the area under the niche cultivation. Indigo could be cultivated only on the fertile land. So only on the fertile land we can cultivate the indigo. This were all already densely populated. This area, though you can say the fertile land is densely populated, so they easily find the you can say the higher labors. So only small plots scattered over the landscape could be acquired. So the small plots scattered over the landscape could be acquired. So planters need a large area in the compact blocks. So they find the large and then compact blocks to cultivate the indigo in the plantation. Where could they get such land farms? So where do you used to get such farms? They attempt to lease in the land around the indigo factory. So now the people used to give the land, or they used to give the land at the rented price, or they attempt to lease in the land around the indigo factory, and evicted the peasants from the area. But this always led to conflict and tension. This always lead to the conflict and tension, because the people are like they want to do their more profit rather than for the others. They think of their own self rather than of the other people. Nor was the labor easy to mobilize. Now the people are not able to easily mobilize. A large plantation required a vast number of the hands to operate, because in the indigo plantation there is we require the number of the people to do the work, and the labor was needed preciously. So here the labor was needed preciously at that time when the peasants were usually busy with their rice cultivation, because the peasants were busy with their indigo plantation and with the rice cultivation. The niche cultivation on the large scale also required a many plugs and the bullocks. So there, what they require, the many plugs and bullocks. 1 week of indigo cultivation required 2 plugs, and the mean that the planter with the 1000 of vigas would need via the 2000 plug. If we the one Viga, we used to take the 2 plugs. For the 1000 of the Vigas, we need required 2000 of the plugs. So investing on the purchase and the maintenance of the plug was a big problem. So it was the big problem that this means that the planted with the 1000 Vigas and would need the 2000 plugs. Investing on the purchase and the maintenance of plug was a big problem. So investing on the purchase and the maintenance of plug was a big problem. Nor could supplies be easily got from the peasants. So nor could the supply be easily got from the peasants, since that the plugs and the bullock were busy on their rice fields. So be easily got from the peasants, since their plugs and bullock were busy on their rice fields, again exactly the time that the indigo planter needed them. Till the 8th 19th century, planters were therefore reluctant to expand the area under the niche cultivation. Less than 25% of the land produced indigos under this system. The rest was under the alternative mode of the cultivation that we used to call it as the riot system. Now we come towards the next, the indigo on the land of the riot. This is the next topic of this chapter. Under the riot system, the planter posed the right to sign a contract and the agreement, that is they used to call it the satta. At the time, they pressured the village headmen to sign the contract on the behalf of the rights. Those who signed this contract got the case advances from the planters at the low rates of the interest to produce the indigo. So those on the at the times they were pressured that the villagers had meant to sign the contract on the behalf of the rights. Those who signed this the contract got the case advance from the planters at the low rate of interest to produce the indigo, but the loan committed the right or to cultivate the indigo at least 25% of the area under this holding. The planters provide the seed and the drill. The planter provides the you can say the drill, while the cultivated prepared the soil, showed seed and look after the crop. So the planter provide the seed, the drill, while the cultivator provide the shod and the seed and look after the crops. The worker harvested the indigo in the earlier 19th century. You can see this picture how the people were planting the indigo in earlier 19th century. And from the Colesworthy Grant ruler in the Bengal in the 1860s. So India in the indigo plant was cut mostly by the men rather than the women. The indigo plant being brought from the fields to the factory. So how they used to on the blow card, they brought the indigo from the fields to the factory. Now you can see how the people used to do the indigo work here. How was the indigo produced? An indigo factory located near the indigo fields, painting by the William Simpson 60C. Fermenting bed, you can see the fermenting bed over here, this is the fermenting bed, and the water bed. The indigo village were usually around the indigo factories owned by the planters. After the harvest, the indigo plant was taken to the west in the indigo factory. There, three or four words were needed to manufacture the dye. Each word had the separate function. The leaves stripped of the indigo plants were the first soaked in the warm water in the wet known as the fermenting or steeper wet for the several hours. When the plants fermented, the liquid began to boil and bubble. Now the rotten leaves were taken out of the liquid and drained into the. Now they have to taken out that leaves, the indigo leaves from the boiled water, and now the rotten leaves were taken out from the liquid, drained out into the another vat that was placed just before the first vat. Now what they do that they used to first separate the leaves, then used to put that particular leaves in the boiled water. After the draining of all the water, then they used to take out that leaves, then used to put it in the another vat. In the second vat known as the wheater vat means the first was considered straight and bitten of the pedals. Now they used to bit with the pedals. Pedals means with the legs. They use it with the legs. When the liquid was gradually turned green and then blue, first is turned green, then blue, the lime water was added to the wet. Now the lemon water is added to the wet. Gradually the indigo is separated from its flex. Now separately indigo is separated from the flex. Then a muddy sediment settled at the bottom of the vat and the clear liquid rose to the surface. The liquid was drained of this sediment of the indigo fluff transferred to the another vat known as the settling vat and then pressed the reeled off seal. The indigo for ready to sell. So you can see the woman used to usually carry the indigo plant to the vats. So usually the most of the women used to carry the bread towards this plant. Then figure 12 it suggests that the wet beaters they used to with this paddle. So the indigo worker here is standing with the paddle that was used to stir and solution in the wet. So they used to use the stir and the paddle with the wet. Then this worker had to remain in the west dip water for the overnight or hours to beat the indigo solution. Then the indigo is ready to say here you can see the last stage of the production, workers stamping and cutting the indigo pulp that has been pressed and molded. In the background you can see the worker carrying away the blocks of drying. Now they are seeing the blocks of the drying. Now we come towards the blue rebellion, and after first we see these two paragraphs. When the crops were the blue rebellion we will see in this segment of the video in brief. Later in the next video we will see in the detail. When the crop was delivered to the planter after the harvesting, a new loan was given to the rack that and the cycle started all over again. Earlier they have given the loan that you have to do this kind of work. When they completed the work, these tenants, so again they have given the loan that you have to do this kind of work you have to do. So again this kind of the repetitive cycle were going on, or you can say the vicious cycle. Peasants who were initially tempted by the loans soon realized how harsh the system was. The price they got for the indigo they produced was very low, and the cycle of the loan were never ended. There were other problems too. The planter usually insisted that the indigo be cultivated on the best soil, and in which the peasant preferred to cultivate the rich rice indigo. Moreover, they used to do the two types, the paddy and the indigo had to be deep root. It's exerted the soil rapidly. After an indigo harvest, the land could not be shown with the rice. So you can see that if you're planting the number of the indigos, so the land is not going to be used for the another crop. Like in this case, we can see the rice or the paddy. The Blue Rebellion, and after in the March 1850, thousands of rights in Bengal refused to grow the indigo. As the rebellion spread, riots refused to pay the rents to the planters and attacked the indigo factory. Now they are not able to pay the price to the factory owners, and they attack the indigo factories. And armed with a sword, spear, bows and arrows, women turn up to the fight with the pots, pen and the kitchen implement. Those who work for the planter was socially boycotted, and the Goma Sat, agent of the planters, who came to collect the rent were beaten. Now these people who come over there to collect the rent, they were beaten up. Right show they would no longer take the advance to show indigo, nor be built by the planters, that is Lathayas, the Lathi welding strongmen maintained by the planters. Why did the indigo peasant decide that they would no longer remain the silent? What gave them the power to rebel? Clearly, the indigo system was intensely oppressive, but those who are oppressed do not always rise up the rebellion. They do so only at the time. So, in 1859, the indigo rights felt that they had the support of the local zamindar and the villager headmen in the rebel against the planters. In many villages, headmen who had been forced to sign the indigo contracts mobilized the indigo peasant and fought pitched the battles with the Lathias. In order to please, even the Zamindar went around the villages urging the riots to resist the planters. This Zamindar were unhappy with the increasing power of the planters. Now here this Zamindar were unhappy with the increasing power of the planters and agreed at being forced by the planters to give them land on the long leases. The indigo peasant also imaged that the British government would support them in their struggle against the planters. So they can indigo peasant will also image that the British government would support them in their struggle against the planters. After the revolt of 1857, the biggest revolt, you will going to learn in the next chapters that the British government was particularly worried about the possible of the another popular rebellion after the 1857. So when the news spread that the Simri revolt in the Indigo district at the Lieutenant Governor turned the region in the winter of 1859, the riot saw the two as a sign of the government sympathy for the plight when the Barasat, the magistrate of Aslan Eden, issued a notice stating that the riot would be compelled to accept the indigo contracts. So the word went around the Queen Victoria. So all these incidents which is going on happen in the India, this all the incidents were going towards the Queen Victoria has declared the indigo need to be shown. So Eden was writing to the Palakech that the peasant and the control can explosive situation. Now this is a situation we can say the explosive, but his action was read as a support of the for the rebellion. As the rebellion spread, intellectuals from the Calcutta rushed to the Indigo district. They wrote of the misery of the riots and the tyranny of the planters and the horrors of the horrors of the Indigo system. Now again when they rushed to the Calcutta, they used to discuss that what they have to intellectual with them, what kind of work they have to do. To worried about the rebellion, the government brought in the military to protect the planters from the assault. Now they used to they used to brought the military or the army to stop this rebellion to protect the planters from the assault and set up the Indigo Commission to inquire into the system of the indigo production. The commission held the planter guilty. Now here who are the guilty? The planters, and criticized them for the coercive method they used with the indigo cultivators. It declared that indigo production was not profitable for the riots. Now they said that the indigo production is not profitable for the riots. The commission asked the riot to fulfill their existing contracts, but also told them that they could refuse to produce the indigo in future. So what they said that you have to refuse to pay the indigo for in the future. The later on is that after the revolt of indigo production collapsed in Bengal, but the planter now shifted their operation in Bihar. First they used to plant the indigo in the Bengal, then after they shifted in the Bihar. With the discovery of the synthetic dyes, which I already explained, the synthetic dye is the chemical based indigo. In the 19th century, the business was severely affected, but yet they managed to expand the production. The business was severely affected, but they slowly and gradually expand their business over a period of time. When the Mahatma Gandhi returned from the South Africa, a peasant from Bihar pursued him with visit Champaran and see the plight for the indigo cultivators. There, Mahatma Gandhi visit in 1917 marked the beginning of Champaran movement against the indigo planters. So indigo making in the West Indies. First we read about the India and the slaves of the Africa, and here we talk about the West Indies. In the early 18th century, a French missionary, Jean-Baptiste Labette, traveled to the Caribbean island and wrote extensively about the region, published in one of his books. This image shows all the stages of the indigo production, the France slave plantation of this region. You can see the slave workers putting the indigo plant into the settle wet or the left. Another worker is the churning of the liquid with a mechanical churner on the wet and the second form of the right. Two workers are carrying the indigo pulp hung up in the bags and dried. So they used to take the you can say the indigo and they used to collect the particular bag and hung up on the bags to dried up. In the foreground, two others are mixing the indigo pulp to be put into the molds. The planter is at the center of the picture, standing on the high ground super with the slave workers. You can see there, this is the tree, how the people standing over there and they used to start doing the indigo cultivation. So far in this second segment of the video, in the first segment and second segment, we completed the whole chapter. So far we have discussed how the earlier the Robert Clive used to get the Diwani system in which he used to start taking the revenue from the Orissa and the Bengal. Later on we see the female the worstly affected in the Bengal. Later on we come to know about the other things what happened in the South India. The people were used to doing the agriculture from the generation to the generation. How the Britishers used to levy the high amount of tax to these people, and they used to collect all of the taxes, all of the revenue from these people, and if they are not able to pay the tax, so they used to take the land and they put the land in the auction that this land is not belong to them and some of the other people they have to bought it. Later we come to know that if the zamindar is not able to pay the tax, they have some problem. So there also land they taken by the Britishers. Now we take later we talk about the crops of the Europe. So they were very fascinating, or they were liking the different crops of the India very much. So the Britishers start cultivating more and more crops in India, because from India they used to take the crop at the cheaper rate and they sell it in the European different country at the higher rate. So does the color have the history? Yes, the color have the history. Where you see in the two figure where you find the Kashmiri design and another one you find the European design, there is the blue color, so there is the indigo. So what is the history behind the indigo in India? That because the demand of the indigo has risen in the European countries, so the Britishers thought that the India is the country where we can plant the number of the indigos, and for the indigo plantation or for the indigo cultivation we need a fertile land and a large number of the peoples. So here we go come to know that in the France, in the other parts of the Europe, the people used to do the start cultivation the indigo, and they used to take the slave from the Africa. But in the 1792 the African people start rebelling it, because the people of the France they used to take more and more work from the tenants and they doesn't give the money to them. But the problems with the niche cultivation, the problem was that they at a particular time the people used to do the lots of work, and after the indigo cultivation again we can't use that particular land for the another crop. And the niche cultivation, the number of the workers were needed, number of the slaves were needed. So for that they have arised the number of the problem, because they first it need a fertile land, but on that fertile land there were the number of the people live over there. So where the find the particular land, or you can say the small settlement, so they used to do the indigo plantation over there. And if they find a particular place in the factory, so in the factory they used to do the indigo plantation. So people start rebelling with each other, or people start conflict with each other that you can't do the indigo plantation over there. Then after that we come to know what the indigo on the land of the rights. Yes, people start writing, because they were given the loans that on this particular land you have to do the indigo, and after the indigo plantation you have to sell it to us. And after again the vicious cycle has started, that again they have to take a loan, then they have to do the cultivation and the plantation. After the harvesting they have to sell it, and after paying the loan again they have to take the loan. So this type of a cycle is going on day by day. So people start reveling now, no more, we do not have to do the indigo plantation more. Then we talk about the blue rebellion, and after in the blue rebellion we come to know that this incident which reported to the queen, and she said that if the people want to do the indigo plantation, they can do it by their own wish, and you have to pay them. So in the different of the countries, now the people start making the synthetic indigo. Earlier it was not that much flourished, but after that the people expand their business by the synthetic plantation. Then we find about the western days how the people used to start planting the indigo in a different ways. They used to put in the particular bag, and they used to put it on the tree, and it used to take when they dried up, then they use the indigo in their color form. So far we have discussed all this point in this chapter. I hope you like this video. Thank you.